when they get to the penitentiary, all of a sudden
Right.
all of a sudden they're a white boy, and it.
Don't let us find that out. You know what I mean? Like, they get punished severely, bro. You know what I mean? They're punished severely. You're better off just running your route and hoping that your car backs you up than to find out.
Right.
Because I'm going to tell you, that happened in my car. And so somebody I used to drink coffee with, smoke cigarettes with, and eat with, and all that, he got a visit, and he had hammers on his neck. You know what I mean? He ran skinhead from San Diego, and so he's doing all that. You know what I mean? And his girlfriend showed up, and she was black, you know, and I'm gonna tell you, that cat had to have felt the fear, bro, for days, because I was like, just everybody stay cool, everybody just resume the normal program, you know what I mean? Because he was a big boy, you know what I mean? And you know, I'm the exercise guy. I'll wait till you're at, 48 push-ups before I jump on your back or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
go do some squats.
I know he felt the change, you know what I mean, the shift in everything, because all of a sudden I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm not drinking with them. I'm not smoking with them. You know what I mean? Like, nothing was happening. And out at the pull-up bar, we stabbed the shit out of him. You know what I mean? I don't know what made him think that, that would go unnoticed, and that's just a mandatory had to do thing. You know what I mean? I wasn't happy that I had to do it. I was pissed off that I had to do it. So, like, there's lots of stories like that, bro. So it happened consistently, but they would have been better off just running their own route, man. You know what I mean? It's a hard car, especially for you guys in our county jail, man. As pink as you are, the first time someone said, "Hey, what's up, Wood?" and you were like, "Nah, homie, I ain't a Wood." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, because I say that all the time. I tell people I'm not a Wood. You know what I mean? Because I'm not Wood. But like, my bad head, my bad. You know what I mean? If somebody said that to you, and you said, "I'm not a head either."
Yeah.
And, I mean, then I guess the next thing would be, "My bad, Christian. My bad, Christian." Yeah. I'm not a Christian either.
Yeah.
You ever see when in Young Guns 2, when he gets down to Mexico and he goes, "Hey, have you heard who I am? I'm whatever." He says his name, and they were like, "Simon," and then they start feeling their knives.
No, I haven't seen it. I'm gonna check it out though.
Oh yeah, so he wants to be the leader of the gang the whole time, and he gets to Mexico, and they're like, he's all, "Do you know who I am?" He's got a reward for him and everything, and they're like, "Simon," and he's like, "Hell yeah, they know who I am," and they're over there sharpening, touching the sharpness of their knives. So, yeah, I mean, that's how it would be, bro. You know what I mean? Like, you would probably end up, and you're not a very big guy. Like, you'd have to pick up heat right from the gate. I'm just guessing. Everybody's gonna say, "No, you wouldn't." They'd back you up. I know what the comments are going to say, bro, but I know when I was in this system, you know what I mean? And if somebody like you had said, "Nah, homie, I run cuz, or I want run blood," or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, if you're not established, you're not from a clique around here, nobody's heard who you are.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And all of a sudden you're saying you're blood. And, in the county jail, you'd probably have a little more play of, not being moved on so quickly because the whites are short there. I mean, but once you got to the joint, that'd be a whole nother story.
It'd be a whole different game. I tell my lady all the time, we're not moving to California, Texas,
or Arizona.
And now, from what I hear, Arizona. So
I don't blame you. But if you ain't trying to live that life anymore, and you ain't trying to return, then you can move anywhere you want, bro. You know
that's absolutely right.
Trust in the God of your understanding. You ain't got to worry about all that shit.
Yeah.
You ain't running.
And that's a beautiful feeling too, because at the end of the day, it's a chapter of my life that I'm not ashamed of it. I'm not necessarily proud of it, but it made me who I am today. And for that, I am proud, because I'm a different man today. But I don't live that life no more. That's not to say that I don't associate, I still stay in contact with homeboys that's locked up and things like that. But I'm not in the mix. And it's a beautiful feeling to wake up and
Nor
know that.
should you be at your age. Nor should you be at your age. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, you're not a pup anymore. It's time to put on your big boy pants and get up and go to work and get a job. And you know what I mean? Like, you did your little bullshit dirt when you were a kid, and you went to jail, you went to prison, and then, you know, now you're out, you have a family, you're working. You know what I mean? Like, that's how sort of it should be. For the smart ones, they wake up one morning and go, nah, man, I ain't doing this shit anymore. You know what I mean? Some people, they're fucking true ride or die. You know what I mean? 70s, still throwing a, what up, cuz? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, I mean, those are the ones that haven't learned. You know what I mean?
And I was hard-headed. It took me twice. A total of 10 years, 3 on the first one and 7 on the second one. But I learned.
For sure. Did you take advantage of any of the situations in there? I mean, at some point, the whites just left you alone, period.
Oh, yeah. After a period, like I said, the second time that I went through, I was known well enough that I didn't have any issues. Even I was approached twice on 2 different yards, higher custody yards, and the response from me was, I'm a GD. We're on two different sides of the tracks, and that was it. That was the end of it, and there was never any issue.
You were approached by whites?
What's that? Yeah. I was approached by whites on 2 different occasions. When I first, like within the first hour of being, you know what I mean, being there.
Of course they're gonna approach.
I was approached, and then after that, it was a dead issue.
They want to know where you are, who you run with, and all that shit. They're gonna approach you no matter what.
Yeah.
You know, we have what we call old school reception out here at certain pens, and you'll have all the blacks, all the Mexicans, all the whites just lined up out there. You know what I mean? And we're talking 300 people lined up, you know, with their own cars and shit. But watching you come on with your little bedroll and cat calling you and like, hey girl, what's up? You know what I mean? It's some scary shit if you ain't been before. You know what I mean? So yeah, we call it old school reception, you know? And that's not the point to buckle, you know what I mean? You just keep walking, just keep your head straight. Don't let the fear show. Everybody has fear, man. It's what you do with that fear that fucking makes you who you are.
Exactly.
You know? So anybody who says they went through the penal system and weren't scared, they're fucking full of shit.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. Yeah.
I mean, I've been beaten, dragged out on sheets, taken to, you know, just, I don't even want to go into it, bro. You know what I mean? But the same things, I've done the same thing to other people, you know, and that's sort of why I got out of the life. Was I was always like, live by the sword, die by the sword, you know, and some of the things that I've done to people, I mean, I've been close enough had that shit done to me, you know what I mean? I've been beaten fucking by him, stomped out, knocked out, you know, all that shit. Let me see, this bed's getting a little uncomfortable. That's too dark. Okay, that's good, I suppose. Can you still see me all right?
Yeah.
So sorry about that, people. Anyway, let's go like this. Hey guys, welcome to another episode. This is part 2 basically of Badgers Heavy Hitters with J.O. as our guest. You know, he's a gangster disciple. He ran Gangster Disciple in his youth. Got into a little bit of trouble here and there for being pink and being in the system. I call us pink because that's what happens when we blush, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're like, want to go take a newcomer's chip or
bright pink.
When I take a cake or something like that, you know, for years, I turn all pink and they're like, look how pink he is. So, you know, which is true. It wasn't easy for you, obviously, you know what I mean? And it wasn't easy for you to run the course you ran as far as your mindset, because you just wanted to belong to something, as most people do. Most people that end up in a gang are selfish, self-centered, inconsiderate people, the people that are at the top. They don't give a shit about nobody except for getting to the top. The people below, they believe that they're joining for a family, joining to have, you know, people that'll have their back, they'll have this, they'll have that. And then they find out that the rules change and nobody's got shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody falls back into the line of selfish, self-seeking, inconsiderate, dishonest, and afraid. We're all those things, you know what I mean? Which is part of the program for me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I got a lot of questions to ask you. Did they ever send you on a mission that you didn't want to go on against a white boy?
No. Well, as a juvenile, yes. As an adult, no. In the juvenile system, oh my goodness, it was mission after mission after mission. And in Topeka, at the juvenile correctional facility, there was a lot of Latin Kings, and there was a lot of Bloods, and those were the two organizations or gangs that we were at war with when I was in there. And one story in particular, we were in the chow hall, and my homeboy told me, you got to go take off on dude. And the dude, now mind you, I'm right now I'm 200 pounds, but I'm not big. You know what I mean? I've never been a big kid. At the time, I'm probably 135, 140 pounds. I'm 15 years old. And the guy that he's telling me to go take off on does not look like he belongs in this institution. This guy looks like a grown man.
Yeah.
And I remember, I just remember laughing at him like, yeah, right, haha. Eat my food. And he's like, hey, man, you got to go take off on this dude. And I remember just my stomach just doing a bloop, bloop, and just like, I could have swore I shit myself. And I'm like, what? And so it's, you know, it's time. We got to kick this off, and blah, blah, but you got to go start this. And I'm like, man. So I just remember taking like 2 more bites because I know I'm getting ready to go to the hole, and I know that I'm not going to get fed in there for a while. And as I'm walking over to this dude, everything is flashing in my head like, what am I going to do? And then what if this goes wrong? And all these what ifs. And to be honest, the only thing I remember is just taking the tray. And at the time, they were like they were weapons. They were like, they were thin and
Metal
they were
trays?
steel.
Yeah. The tray.
The metal trays.
Too, yeah.
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 And I remember it was Pancake Day, and the only reason why I remember that is because I was covered in syrup at the end of this, and I'm in the hole and I'm sticky as shit, and that's the only reason why I know it was Pancake Day. And I swung this tray and I cracked this dude in the head, and he just looked up, and I said, and I just remember I probably pissed down my leg because I knew I was about to get just the brutal ass whooping that I got. And he stands up and just begins to pummel me. And it happened so fast that I don't really remember a lot, except for when the correctional officers broke it up. I knew I was alive, and I knew I wasn't dead, and I knew this guy hadn't killed me, and I was thankful for that. I go to the hole, I'm sticky, and I'm waiting for the rest of my homeboys to come back to the hole.
They never show up.
And they never showed up. So I sit in there for, probably 2 weeks maybe, and I get out, and I go back, and I remember going to my homeboy like, man, what happened? And he was like, man, we just, this guy's been a problem. We're trying to get him out of here. And I'm like, so you picked the littlest dude to do this, right? We just want to see if you would do it. I said, oh, man. you know, and that was, and there was a lot of missions like that as a kid. That one in particular, I'll never forget, just because the emotions that I felt were so strong. Of just, I just knew this guy was just gonna kill me. He was huge, and but the juvenile system was so slick. In we would have wars in the bathrooms, and it was like there was, they called them cottages, and Jayhawk Cottage was the whole, and I was in like I was in a Arapaho, because there was a saying about being in that unit. I'm sure you can guess. And there was one staff per, there had to be 100 kids in this unit, in this cottage, you know, and it's in Kansas, so it's all brick. It's like a castle, and we'd go in the bathrooms, and the cop wouldn't even be there half the time, and so we're just having just all out wars in the bathrooms. And then me being pink, anytime I was always getting a black eye,
cut or bruised.
I was always getting something. And so they would take me and ask me, and of course it's, I was playing softball on the yard. Well, you didn't report it. And then after like the third time of saying this, they wouldn't even ask me questions. They would just take me directly to the hole after that, because they knew something. So I'd be sitting in the hole for 3 days waiting for investigation. And the one thing about juvenile system is a lot quicker than the adult system. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
But it was always fighting in juvenile was like a daily thing. It was just, I mean, and it would be over some of the stupidest, playing cards, playing spades. And I mean, I'm just like, my God, really?
People have lost their lives over playing spades or pinochle. You know what I mean? Pinochle for sure.
Pinochle. That grid table.
Lost their lives over that. You know?
Yeah. The grid table as an adult I've seen more fights over the grid table on pinochle than, man. Whew.
Oh yeah, believe that. They take that shit serious, you know. I play for my breads and my meats. If I don't win, I don't eat.
I don't eat. Yeah, exactly.
So yeah.
Bread and meat. I don't win, I don't eat.
It's a serious game. Well, fortunately, you rode the course that you had to ride. You know what I mean? You became who you became as a result of it. You're out here doing different things for, why don't you lay it down as to what's going on in your life today?
So today, I believe I mentioned this to you on the phone. I got out on Valentine's Day of last year. And I got out in Washington State. I'm not sure if it's like this in California or the rest of the United States. Washington State, you have to have an address to release to.
Yeah.
If you don't have an address to release to, you're going to stay past your release date until they put you in a halfway house, an Oxford house, or whatever. My estranged wife at the time, we weren't talking. She left me. She wrote out the bid with me until I had 18 months left, and then she left, which at the time I couldn't make sense of it. But in hindsight, it was the best thing that ever happened to me, because it was a toxic relationship, and it enabled me to focus on me and fix myself. But anyways, she was the only address that I could use to get out on my ERD. So I get out, and she has a live-in boyfriend. Her mom lives there. Her son, her oldest son, who had just got out of the joint, lived there. And my son lived there. So I get out to this environment, and to my credit, I made it like 90 days without, having an episode and snapping and getting kicked out. I ended up on the streets for a little bit. But I knew I was going to be okay when I was downtown Olympia, which is kind of like a hub for drugs and crime, and it's a mess downtown. and I was down there, and I was still isolating myself away from it. And at that point, I knew I was going to be okay.